A lot of us have some boundaries in one area of our lives, but we may not have boundaries in others. Or we have people or situations in our lives that challenge our boundaries, and we wind up leaving the door open.
Welcome to AMC. I'm Dr. Greg Miller. One of the main causes for chiropractors to burn out is a lack of boundaries. Today, Dr. Lisa Beighle is going to walk through one of the critical aspects of leadership, setting boundaries. You won't want to miss her advice on when to set a boundary. If you enjoy this video, please click the like and subscribe buttons. Let's get started.
Hello, Dr. Beighle here, and today I want to talk with you about something very important, and that is boundaries. The definition of boundaries is the limits that we set with others. That indicates to them what we find acceptable or not acceptable in how they behave towards us. I like to think of boundaries as a property line or a fence. Think about a fence that's 10 foot tall that has a door in it. Everything that you don't want on your property or in your life, you leave that door shut. What you find acceptable or what you want to be part of your life, you have the ability to open that door. And you have the ability to open that door or close that door in how it relates to taking care of yourself. There are 5 main areas of boundaries. There's emotional, material, time and energy expenditure, physical boundaries, and mental boundaries. Why are boundaries so important? Boundaries really are about self-care, and if we don't have boundaries, we wind up feeling depleted, angry, emotionally taken advantage of, confused, floundering, unable to do what's necessary to get things done in our lives. There are a few key ways that you need to know to set boundaries, especially if you're setting boundaries for the first time. A lot of us have some boundaries in one area of our lives, but we may not have boundaries in others. Or we have people or situations in our lives that challenge our boundaries, and we wind up leaving the door open. So not only do we need to have boundaries, but we need to be able to modify them as we continue to grow and learn in life. We need to know when to open the door, when to close the door, or maybe just open it a little bit for a short period of time. In order to start setting boundaries for the first time in your life, it does take self-reflection. It takes some time to sit down and analyze the areas in your life that you feel depleted, that you feel emotional turmoil, that maybe you feel guilty or angry. You have to define what those areas are in your life and how it is making you feel. So self-reflection is the first step. The next step is to start small. You cannot incorporate all of your boundaries all at once with everyone. Pick the ones that bother you the most, that deplete your energy the most, and that's where you need to start. You also need to set boundaries early in new relationships and in new situations. It is very, very difficult to set a boundary once you are emotionally, mentally, physically, or financially involved in a situation. The next thing is to be consistent. You can't have a boundary one day and not have it the next. Nobody will learn to respect where you stand and how important things are to you. Another thing, you have to change them as needed. If you have a current boundary that is not shielding you from anger or emotional drainage or time expenditure that you don't have, You have to be able to change them and change them quickly and be able to communicate how you have changed those boundaries to everybody involved. I think communication of your boundaries is something that you grow and you learn how to do. And boundaries can be set in any situation as long as you set those boundaries with love, you define them, and you make sure you stand behind them. So I would encourage you, if you feel like you have no boundaries in your life right now, to simply sit down and do some self-reflection and find out where you need to start in order to live a healthier life. God bless.
If this has been helpful, like and subscribe to be notified whenever new videos come out. As always, we are here to help. Text us any questions you have at 904-966-4996. AMC is your guide to becoming respected, effective, and valued in practice. See you next week.